This is knowledge that we used to have access to, and now it's down to us to kind of restore and bring that knowledge back. And as you said, to uplift ourselves and to empower ourselves. So now we're talking about self empowerment. I feel excited because I know that this is where we're going to get juicy. What would you recommend as the first step for anybody who says, I don't know what to do? I feel disconnected. I want to reach out to my ancestors. I want to connect to that African wisdom in myself. What would you say is the very first thing someone can do?
The first thing that you could do is learn how to communicate with your ancestors. That's it. If you don't get not one altar, one initiation, one Ori, one Ifa, your ancestors are waiting for you because they're in your blood. It's in your blood. So it's actually a shrine of the empowerment of your DNA. That's what the ancestor, that's the first step that you would want to do, is to find out how to connect to your ancestors and trust your spirit, because your spirit will never lead you wrong. Follow that little thing that tell you, you need to run. But I Googled it, you need to run. If it doesn't feel like you feel it in here, your ancestors will get you across the water. That's the first step that you need to do. Follow your intuition. We are very intuitive. People who are melanated, all we need is sunshine, and we become radars of creation. So go out in the sunshine, connect to that and say, ancestors, I don't know who you are, where you are. Some of us don't even know our ancestors physically, but we know you run in my body. I ask you now to make a connection to me. I'm going to pour this water that I learned how to just pour some water, because water is the most sacred and fluid that runs through us and for them. And we pour this libation and call their names and just give them something out of respect. Give them a little offering, something that means something to you. Take off the wrapper, put it on a plate, and just touch your head. Made intentions of my head and intentions of my heart, of my mother's side and my father's side, be sufficient. And put that. If you start with that, that's it. And that's why we have those classes on YouTube that are free. That you go on YouTube, how to set up an ancestor shrine. That's the elaborate way. But because many people sometimes are living in situations where the parents don't want to know that they're doing Africa or whatever, go out in the park, go in nature, stand by a tree. That's the first step, is to connect with your ancestors. The name and all of it, getting your Ifada, that's down the road.
Which actually leads on nicely to the next question that Brown Nature says, how can one be initiated?
Well, initiation is every day. Every day you're being initiated into something new. Initiation means the beginning. So you are initiated every day of your life. Right now, I'm initiated myself now in this 74 year of me. I'm in the cycle. Like I did a class the other day on the 12 test of life. And so in the cycle where I am, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, is teaching the younger generation by recalling what I did that was smart and what was not so smart. And that's what makes me so brilliant. It's not brilliant because brilliance just came upon me. It's because I made a lot of boo-boos. And through that, that's what you do. So initiation is every day. So now I feel like I'm beginning a new phase of my life. As 50 years in the priesthood, as what am I doing with this? How am I going to change what I've done and upgrade it? That's my new things. How am I going to upgrade it? So now my commitment is to have ongoing everyday way that our community can connect. If it's just to honor the ancestors through misas or to ancestral reverence, stay connected as a community where people who are leaving Western understanding and trying to relearn African understanding that's already in us, find a place every week that they can come home to Big Mama. You, Big Mama Verona, my Big Mama, everybody else, the lady that asked. So initiation is that. Now, the step towards initiation is, like I said, every day you're initiated. From the day that you're born, our ancestors know that you chose to come here. That's the initiation you began. And so every day, when the child is born, 3 days before, 3 days after the child is born, a divination is done, and then the world, they're presented, initiated into the community. the society. Everybody know why they were born, why they had the names, and each steps. And then you get your Ifa. When you get your destiny and why you came on earth, then in there it will tell you where you need to be initiated into being a carpenter, or you need to be initiated to being a nurse, and all of aspects of it. And if it so happens that, it's a priesthood, then that's it. Everyone does not have to become a priest, because if everybody was a priest, what would happen to the other aspects of our lives? And so that's initiation. It would have to come from a place where it was divinely ordained. So you wouldn't be able to say, oh, I think I want to be a priest because it looks good. Trust me, it is not easy. It's a calling that, trust me, I was running from it. When they told me priesthood, I was like, really? That's not me. Truth, you're like, really? I still smoke weed, So how could you be this serious mother that's going to tell the truth when life had to teach me that, the things that they're told at the beginning doesn't mean later and got into all of that. Then you realize,
ooh, the connection's cutting out quite a bit now.
This is a journey. So initiated to different aspects. You're initiated into being a mom. You're initiated into a co-worker. You get initiated. So each thing is a step. But initiated into knowing what you came on earth to do, the suggestion, recommendation that I would is when you get your Ifa. Get your destiny, know what you came on earth to do. Because you might say, oh, I Googled and it says priest of this, and that sounds like what I want to do. And then the taboos and the restrictions, you're not naturally able to do it. And then you feel like you always have to say 3 Hail Marys and hope that God don't come get you. It doesn't work like that. It's a commitment that you make, and that, if it's just your destiny, then that's your path, and you will have the support that you need, and you will understand the different aspects of your life as they require you to do X, Y, and Z.
Lovely. I'm just trying to get some of the comments here. I am Ewe, and we are predominantly Afa, Ifa spiritual people. I am learning. I am careful about who I am going to for direction. Follow my intuition. I think I just found my home. So that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Senna. That's beautiful. Toya 18 Cat says, how can we differentiate between the little voice in our head and our ancestors? Also, thank you guys for all your knowledge. That's a very good question, actually.
Yeah, the little different in your head is maybe it's your ego. Is that part of you that's limited in its education? It's limited to what you know in the past. You assume that that's wisdom. And the voice of your ancestors that you hear, you know what your foundation is. You know what your culture is. You know what your foundation is, what you learn in kindergarten. Wait for your turn, hold hands, be kind to someone, say thanks and please. Those are the things that are going to guide you. However, when we're dealing in that, that's why on my platform, I teach how to communicate with your ancestors by throwing the coconut shells, the Obi. So you can check with your Ori or check with your ancestors. They will know definitely. So if it's your ego or if it's divine. And so everyone is entitled to learn divination. My children learned divination when they were 3. So you learn how to do it 5 little simple ways. Binary mathematics to tell you yes, no, hell no, and you crazy.
I love the way you speak. I love it.
Our culture is very simple. It's very, very simple. It is made so that everyone, because remember, this is not a religion. This is a way of life. This is a way of life. So studying the books and learning that you Googled it, knowing it more than your teacher, that's not it. Teaching your child at 3 years old how to throw the shells and divine, you're setting them up that when they get to be a teenager and their friends say, oh, come on, man, let's do this. They're like, hey, hold on, I'll be right back. They throw a reading and say, I think I'm going to go home because the reading said, run, you're crazy. Where they're going is to jail. You need to go home. Those are the things that when you empower your children with tools, they make decisions based on spirit, not based on what's going on and peer pressure and all of those things. That's Eurocentric. African-centered understanding is you go within, you learn how to throw your shells, and it tells you yes or no.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I have a TBKS channel says, I'm interested to understand more about offerings to the ancestors. Should it be led by intuition, or is there a right way ritual?
Well, intuition is fine, but sometimes there's scientific principles that don't go with the shrine. that would not be sacred. And so that's why on my platform, I have it free. Just go on yayafini.com and learn how to set up an ancestor altar. And if you're a member of the IIA, of the Friends of the Institute, you just go on there and you learn how to throw Obi, or you can just download it off of my website and learn how to throw Obi. And Dr. Funlai also on her little platform, and everybody's out there doing all the blah blah blah. You learn how to just throw and ask them, is this the food? There are lists that go along with that, and that's why I'm saying that we can have the classes, because that's the things that we have to be educated as to. We have to deprogrammed and reprogrammed with what our ancestors did. And so you have to have facts, you have to have knowledge, and from that you're going to draw the wisdom. So to feed your ancestors, how to set it up, where to throw it when you're finished, what to speak with them, all of that is on that thing that it says Introduction to Ancestor Reverence on my website, or how to set up an ancestor altar. So you can go in for the class on it, which is 2 hours, or you can just do the drive-through, like going through McDonald's with extra fries. You just go on through and get a link up, get a hookup.
And I've just added the website to the screen because I know that's going to, yep, I knew that question was coming. So Leo, right, the website is now scrolling across the bottom.
Yes, yayafini.com. And if you put .org, it'll go there too, but it's yayafini.com.
Okay.
And then that's it. And you just go in there, and I got classes and all of the stuff that you can study out to how to, the relationship that you have with, it's just beautiful, all types of things.
Perfect. Excellent. So I wanted to go back to, you mentioned before about women and the power that we have as women. I wondered if you could elaborate more on that in terms of if we start to tap into our sacred feminine energy, how much of a change can we really bring about into our physical realities?
We have already tapped into it. That's why you and I on this platform. We have tapped into it because our mothers, the Iyami, the mothers, the divine mothers, give us all of the support that we need. All we have to do is step out of our own way and stop thinking that, the male dominant culture is going to dictate how we should be, do, and have. Our mothers. I think the way for us to find spiritual power is to make sure that in this journey, on this journey, and through this journey, you find yourself a godmother. Very, very important. Very, very important, because you want to have the feminine aspect and the view of a female if you're a female. And if you're a male, you still need the feminine in your life to guide you on that aspect of you. Because the feminine, the divine feminine, is that part of us where in our spirits, we don't have to study. We already come every 28 days. We get a new recycle of new information, of new ways of doing things. And so when you have a spiritual mother, what you're doing is you're having someone who is able, who naturally has the ashe of the natural aspects of the spirit, which comes through easier than with the education and the remembering and the verses of Ifa. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying that there is not a place for the Babalawo, but there has to be a place. You have to know the Orisha. And today, the way things are really. Ooh. Their connection to Orisha. Everyone now is a way that I want to throw Pwele, and because we're even and we're equal. No, we want to go to the place that we are the experts, we are the genius. Every 28 we come back with a beautiful walk of mixing a meal without even measuring.
Ooh.
Is to respect our elders, respect our elder women, and also come from and study the knowledge of this faith. On my platform, that's the thing that I do, that we have, is the Introduction to African Spirituality. it's very important for us to know, why is it that African descended people think the way we do, and why Eurocentric and why Asians think the way that they do, is because we have a natural ashe that comes with us in the way that we are and how we behave. In knowing that, then you know the base of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. You have the base that a woman has the same equal rights as a man, and she has the same power as Orisha on earth. Oshun had the same power as Yemonja, and Yemonja had the same power as Ogun, and Ogun had the same power as Olokun. The women and the men, we all have the same powers. We just have to know what it is and not placing one below the other and feeling that we're threat. This culture, Western culture, and when you study that Introduction to African Spirituality, you understand that Western understanding is very limited. It's limited to understanding that everything that you see is their reality. With us, is everything that you don't see is our reality, the thing of the spirit. And so when you know that, then you look around and you say, wait a minute, why am I teaching women like treating women like this? And that mean I'm treating my mama? Why am I treating my mama like this? What? There's something wrong with this picture. So let me regroup and find out where do we put women in this category? How do we honor women? There's a saying in Africa that if you make a woman cry, that's taboo. Her tears alone on the earth could ruin your life. And so you have to understand also that what's happening and what has happened in the past 40 years, in the past 60, no, I'm saying maybe past 90 years or so, where we have the practice and tradition in Yoruba coming into Ifa practice, and that coming to the Western Hemisphere. A lot of the people, a lot of the teachers, the Babalawos, and that they are educated 200 years back by missionaries, where the head of the whole institution of priesthood and God was set up by men, whereas originally it's women who ran the temple. And so you have, we have to look at what sociologically, what has happened to us, what have we evolved to. We are kind of like wearing two different things, in that we feel that we have to do the things that a man does to be a person of power. No, know your role as a woman. That's the power that every man has to bow to. When you go to Ifa and you have to be introduced to Odu, you are being introduced to the feminine aspect of God. That's what Ifa is. That's what Odu is. I'm sorry. That's what Odu is. You are learning what it is to be a woman when you sit on the mat. Women don't need that. We already have that. We are Odu. So when we know that and we all come together, we don't have to fight with each other and feel that I'm more powerful than you and you're more powerful than me. No. We are each other in different stages of our 12 developments, of our 12 stages. Each one of us. I am you, Verona, at whatever age you are, I am you. And you are going to be me at my age. So the foundations that we lay is how to get along with each other, how to respect each other, how to know that our ancestors, that Oshun and Yemanja had their arguments, but they always collaborated and worked with each other, because they knew that one without the other, the world will cease to be. If Oshun and Yemanja argued over who has the sweetest or the strongest water, impossible. The sea needs the river, and the river needs the sea. But we get in the world and we think that because we say we are ordained and we have God, we forget that we are human. And that's why we have the Proverbs, and in my Teaching Tuesdays, and that I like to do that Patekis. I like to do the stories. So you can see how when the Orishas messed up, and they want us to know, they want to be transparent, and they want us to be transparent as elders, as teachers, and show the world that you're human. It's okay to misstep. Where the problem comes in is if you cannot surrender and say, I have been wrong and I have a new way. Don't look at each other as competition. Look at each other as equal. And
Oh, it seems
it's coming back. Everything that we do commercial towards the pocketbook of the female. We are so powerful. If we don't want some activity, so women, we have power. We have everything that the world needs. We just have to know that we are the package. We are the package that the men need so that they can open themselves up to remember, to be gentle, to be tender, to be loving to themselves first, and to do the work, the therapy, the work that needs to be done, that this culture subjugates our men to make them feel that every day of their life, they're not good enough. They have a target of just trying to break them down in their own homes, break them down in their community. So we have to come together as women to know who we are, to build our men up, to hold them accountable, to hold them in the place of love, so they can feel that when they put their heart and they say, baby, this is how I feel. You know, it's like, well, I told you that. No, we're going to be the loving mother that says, come on, we can do this together. Let's do this together. And then the man then doesn't feel like, oh, I'm being subjugated in the street and here I am now being beat down by a woman. No, we can go. We have a common enemy, and the common enemy is ignorance. Is ignorance. And that's why we have to teach and learn and grow and